the Indian public mango men at a time when there are these serious charges against you? Are you in fact revealing that kind of, that kind of Marie Antoinette trap of the Indian elite? That, the fact is today, as Veer was mentioning, today in the age of social media, there is hyper connectivity across classes. And so this kind of almost an arrogant, condescending statement is necessarily seen as deeply insulting and deeply condescending.
Sagarika, elite or no elite, it is simple bad manners. I don't think it is anything more than that or less than that. I don't think we should give more importance than that. Now, what's more important to me is who are the elites? The word elites we are using so cavalierly. Who are the elites? In a sensible society, elites are not positional. Elites are not because they temporarily hold office or they are close to those in office. Elites are the Dadabhai Naorojis of the world, the Gopal Krishna Gokhales of the world. During freedom struggle, we had the finest elites in the country. They were extremely learned men and women, public spirited, deeply committed, very competent, and they really led by example. The Naorojis, the Gokhales, the Tilaks, the Gandhis, the Nehrus, the Patels, the Ambedkars, these were the true elites. Who are the elites today? Just because somebody has money, somebody has position of influence and power, you call them elites? It's an insult to the word elite. The tragedy is that opulence and ill-gotten wealth and unearned respect, power because of referral power, not really earned because of the public esteem or the good deeds that you have done, these are taken as badges of honor today.
Right.
I think we have to now revise some of these assumptions. It's time that we recognize that a lot of Indians are now growing up in a milieu in which they are seeing the best in the rest of the world.
Right.
When you see a man like David Cameron very humbly accepting the need to have a badge, an identification. You see a man like Tony Blair going and taking the counseling from a police station because his son was found drunk in public. You see a man like Jimmy Carter standing in a supermarket actually collecting his own provisions and then paying the bills. And then our fellows pretending that they are the lords and masters of the universe is absurd. This kind of false elitism, this kind of hierarchical society, this kind of a totally pompous nature is unacceptable in any civilized society.
Indian elite that led the freedom movement, that was in the leadership of the Congress party. Nehru himself, he was the archetypal elite Indian who in fact who was in fact the leader of the freedom movement. Now, do you feel that it's time for the Indian elite to reinvent itself along those lines? That somewhere along the line the elite has become disconnected, it has become in its own trap of its Marie Antoinette trap, as I keep saying, and it's time to recover that lost covenant with public service?
Sagarika, you're absolutely right. Even today there are many politicians at various levels who are men and women of great honor, dignity, sense of public purpose and deep commitment. But in general, there is undoubtedly a disconnect between the general public, the people of this country, and those in public office, whether it's politicians or bureaucrats, not merely politicians. Every functionary in a public office now thinks that he is almost invulnerable. There's no accountability. And increasingly in this country, very sadly, three classes of people are demanding respect without earning it. Those who have the accident of birth on their side, those who have proximity to power, and those who have wealth earned or unearned. Now, merely because they have money, merely because they happen to be sons and daughters of so and so, and merely because they have some access to power, if they demand some allegiance and respect, it simply will not happen. That's not the way the country should be built. I think there's a fundamental need for looking at political recruitment. Look at our parliament and state legislatures.
Right.
Every single legislator in the country below 30 years of age is a son and daughter of a prominent politician. And between 30 and 40 years of age, 75% of the legislators in the country are sons and daughters of politicians. Between 40 and 50, 45% of legislators in the country are sons and daughters of politicians. This smacks of a very old-fashioned, hierarchical, caste-ridden society. This is not on in a modern democracy.
It's an old-fashioned